A baby formula shortage due to supply chain issues and recent product recalls has some local parents struggling to feed their infants. We received your emails and we know you're worried, so we're bringing in a health expert to let you know what you can do. Emily Moore is a certified registered nurse practitioner with the Department of Pediatric Gastroenterology at USA Health. Emily, from the research I did, it appears shortages of some types of formula are greater than others.
Sure. This all started with a recall from Abbott, which is the makers of Similac. And in early March, they ran across some possibilities of Chronobacter and Salmonella in some formulas. And so they stopped production in their Sturgis, Michigan plant. Now, this is all related more to the specialty formulas, but it's kind of trickled down through the regular infant formulas. So they've stopped production at this particular plant, but everybody that was using these two types of specialty formulas has had to start using the Enfamil versions. And so Enfamil has really ramped production, is trying to produce these specialty formulas, but it's trickled down into the regular infant markets because people are worried and they're scared. It's kind of like the same thing that happened in 2020 with the toilet paper. You hear about this shortage, and so everybody goes and purchases as much as they can of the particular formulas. The regular infant formulas are still being produced at the exact same rate. It's just that people are worried and they're starting to grab up the formulas instead of just taking the normal cans that they would typically buy.
Right. Now, should the majority of infants be able to adapt to another brand of formula without having any issues like upset stomach?
Sure, they absolutely can. There's lots of different generic brands and also some store brands that are the equivalent, and they're comparable. I would just say to talk to your pediatrician first before you try those particular formulas, because oftentimes kids will see a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
But again, what's fed is best. So if it means that you have to use an alternative formula, we've got to feed these babies first and foremost.
Exactly. Now, I went to get formula over the weekend for my 10-month-old. While thankfully I haven't had any issues finding that for my baby, I did notice the shelves were quite bare with only one box of the brand I use in stock. Now, I talked with another mom here at WKRG who uses the Costco Kirkland brand, and she says she has not seen a shortage. Emily, that Kirkland brand is comparable to Similac, but moms do need to know, you kind of touched on this, there are slight differences with every formula moms and dads and caregivers need to be aware of.
Yes, absolutely. There's different ways of production. It's kind of like Coke and Pepsi. I mean, they're both going to feed the baby. They're the same makeup. They're just made by two different companies, and they're going to have different your baby can have different symptoms based on one versus the other. But I would just touch base with their pediatrician, make sure they're comparable, and then you should be fine to use the off brands, if you will.
And also, I want to go back to this, the babies on prescription diets, the babies with allergies. One grandmother emailed me saying her granddaughter is on prescription formula, and drugstores don't even have the supply to fill those prescriptions.
Right. It's a very scary thing. Now, that's the hard part that we've run into, is that with this plant in Sturgis, Michigan shutting down, it has put Enfamil really on high demand. I mean, they've gone from, they were producing specifically this particular formula called Pure Amino used to cover 8% of the market, and now they are covering 70% of the market. So the company is trying its very best to get the formula out to us, the consumers, and the medical fields. They're putting it back in hospitals, back in WIC clinics, but they're just really having to ramp production as much as they can to cover the market, going from a small percentage to a very, very large percentage until we can get the EleCare brand coming back on. That's the problem. It also goes for the Nutramigen and Alimentum as well. Those are ones that people have had to switch from from the Similac brand over to the Enfamil brand.
Now, Emily, I know we're running out of time, but quickly, that same grandmother told me her daughter bought a few cans of formula from a private seller online. What would you say to her and also to parents who are attempting to make their own formula or dilute the formula they have to make it last longer?
Sure. So dilution is a different story. That is not what we recommend at all, because it simply is changing the calorie content, the fats, all the nutrients in the formula. So we do not suggest diluting it. Our best bet is keep trying different pharmacies, especially mom and pop pharmacies oftentimes can get it when the big brand name pharmacies cannot order it. It's coming from different distributors. So just keep looking, and we're going to hold out until we can get this plant back up and the formula back on the market.
So just talk to your pediatrician. That's really the end game.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I wish that we had a way to get it to everybody, but it is the next couple months are going to be trying, and we don't have a timeline on when this particular brand will be back up.
All right. Thank you, Emily.